Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to Chilling with Torah at David Chai Synagogue, a BYOC event. Bring your own chidush to the table. This week's parasha is Parashat Balak, right? The first Blake in history.
Black Lives Matter.
Very, very interesting parasha. Vayar Balak ben Tzipor et kol asher asa Yisrael le'emorim. How did Balak ben Tzipor see what Israel did to the Emorim? How could he see it?
The source.
Right, as it should have said,
He heard.
Vayishma Balak ben Tzipor. Why Vayar? How is it possible that he saw?
הוא היה נביא, הוא היה, יש לו כישופים.
You're getting close.
The פשטות is, זה עושה אותו, אני רואה, זאת אומרת שאני גם שמעתי. It's the same thing.
You're right. You're both
זה
getting
הפשטות,
close.
זה הפשטות.
The pashtut, but the real thing here is why it says Vayar is because Balak was a sorcerer. He's also the grandson of, does anybody know? Lavan. You know Lavan?
ארמי. אבל הוא היה מדייני, איך קוראים לו? בלק.
בלעם היה. לא? גם בלק?
No, I'm sorry, Bilam was. Bilam was the grandson of Lavan.
Yeah, that could make sense.
Balak ben Tzipor, why did they say ben Tzipor? Why is he the son of a bird? So he was a big sorcerer. He was a big magician. And what did he use? He used a bird. It's a special bird that would fly. And that bird, when it flew back home, he had a pot. And that pot, he would boil the waters with all the different concoctions that he needed to. And then the edim, how do you say edim in English? Steam, or give me another word.
Smoke?
Basically, this little smoke that this little heat that would come off of it will turn into a window, and everything that the bird saw, he would see in this window.
Drone.
That's the drone.
A drone.
That was the drone that was said as a trivia question. That was the old drone. There it is. The bird goes flying, and he sees it on the screen from them. By the way, this whole concept of seeing this window, this is not the first time we see it. We saw it in many different places. When it says that they saw through the window that Yaakov was mitzachek, not Yaakov, Avraham mitzachek Sarah, Yitzchak mitzachek Rivka.
שאלימלך ראה אותם.
How did he see him? He saw him with this window, with this technology as well. This is this Balak ben Tzipor. He used to also have the bird right on his shoulder. This is like straight out of a cartoon. He used to have it on his shoulder. Now, why is he so concerned? What's his problem? Why is he worried? Why are we even talking about him?
He's worried because the Jewish people are coming. They're not going to take his territory, because his territory is not within the Eretz Israel. But he was afraid that he will have to be, like, to pay taxes, to be under the chasut of the Jewish people. You know, he will have to.
He's shaking in his boots because the Jewish people just got rid of Sichon and Og, the giants that were also protecting them, and they went through every single army. So now they're saying, we can't beat them physically, we have to beat them spiritually. So they want to find out, how can we beat them spiritually? So they go to their spiritual giant. Who is their spiritual giant? Bilam.
But how we knew that spiritually you can.
Because you can't beat them physically.
You can't beat them physically.
But how we knew?
Sihon was a giant.
Because the Hashem is with them.
No, you went to Midian.
Yes.
Sent
Turn
to
this over
Midian.
to Shishlom.
And Skene Midian They know from, they know Moshe Rabbeinu, they know this, and they know that the koch of the Jewish people is in the mouth. It's not in the muscles.
That's right.
So that's why he knew that to beat the Jewish people, you have to beat them differently, not
It's exactly
spiritually.
that. Pasuk Dalet says that. Vayomer Moav el Zikne Midian. Exactly, that's exactly where he went to. And they told him, go to Balak ben Tzipor. I'm sorry, to go to Bilam. Why? He was their spiritual giant. Now Bilam is who I really wanted to speak about. Balak is, he's the one that dispatched.
He's the one who called him.
Yeah, but Bilam, he's the main character over here. You have to understand why Bilam.
Can I just for Leiluni, this should be Leiluni Shmat Tzipora Feiga Bat Yaakov Zev, and Laavdil also Zivug Itai Ben Chana, and if anybody else has anything.
May this class be to the zivug of Itai ben Chana, and Lahavdil also for the Ilui Nishmat of Tzipora
Feiga Bat Yaakov Zev.
Tzipora Feiga ben Yaakov
Bat
Bat Yaakov
Zev.
Zev. Be'ezrat Hashem, may these Divrei Torah be to her benefit.
Amen.
And the same way that in the first pasuk we have the word Tzipor, and she's Tzipora, maybe there's a big connection over here for that. As she go higher and higher. And may this also be to the Refuah Shema of Rabbi Yeshayahu Yosef Pinto. The Be'ezrat Hashem, he have a big Sata Deshmaya to heal from his surgery.
Amen.
And that we will soon hear his words of wisdom again come from that mouth and throat.
Amen.
So here we are. It comes to Bilam. Who is Bilam? Let's get to the bottom of it. We said he's the grandson of Lavan. And Lavan taught him
All the
witchcraft
bad
and sorcery.
stuff. All the bad stuff.
Remember not too long ago we were talking about Azazel. We're talking about those two demons buried in the mountain, right? Who was their prize student? Bilam. He went and he studied with them. Remember the story we said, how tough it is to get in there and to study with them. You have to maybe go to the previous classes, a beautiful class we spoke about the Azazel goat, and we said over there and buried in the mountain are these two demons, and Bilam went and studied with them. Most people were able to stay with them only for 3 days, and that was max. He stayed with them for way beyond that. Now, not only was he...
I have a question. Is
Yes.
Bilam, God appointed him to be the prophet of the Goyim, or
Yes.
the Goyim appointed him because the soul is...
It's a good question, but what we know is, why did Bilam have such a success? Why was he able to get
don't
such
have a complaint.
Exactly. So the Goyim say, hey,
So
you
why-
had
you
Moshe,
gave them
we didn't have anybody
so
like
why
Moshe.
why God will bring somebody that is such an evil person? You
He
know,
had still a vision. He had a power like
but
Moshe.
still, so why he was an evil person? He went, the
evil is his
Shazam
choice.
and all this.
The evil is his choice. Hashem didn't make him evil.
Hashem had to give him the
You have to
power.
understand, he came from the lineage of evil. He's the grandson of
I know.
Lavan. He chased evil. As a matter of fact, if you want to know how evil he was, he says we have the whole
You know,
story.
but why God made him to be the prophet of the Goyim? Maybe if we bring somebody that is a nice person,
No.
so maybe the Goyim will, it will be a more influence on the Goyim, a better influence.
He didn't tell him what
and
to
not
do,
to go, לא לקחת אותם בדרך שלהם, להוביל
Right,
אותם
but
עוד
they
דבר.
gave him the bchira chofshit, and that's what he saw. This is what he chose. Keep in mind, human beings, we always have free choice. Hashem says you have the gift. Go left, go right. This is what he chose. Now,
אבל עכשיו אין להם טענה לגויים.
they say, well, we never had somebody like Moshe. Now look, Bilam, his physical appearance was also pretty weird. We know that he was one-eyed, right? We say that. How come we don't say einayim raot? How come we say ayin hara? How come we don't say einayim raot? It's
שטום
plural.
עין, שטום עין.
How come the word, the concept of the evil eye is ayin hara? Why isn't it einayim raot? From Bilam, he had one eye.
Oh, yeah.
Ayin hara came from him.
Is his eye was in the middle, or
No, he had one eye that was knocked out. Not only that, he was
He's like a pirate.
he was also hard of hearing. and he also had a limp.
Right, right.
He was a special character. He wasn't, the way that he looked.
So he wasn't a Metzia.
He wasn't a Metzia. A find.
It's about a Chatan, or Shidduch, somebody.
Always special. He wasn't a
So-
special deal.
The whole inyan over here is that we have a king of a nation coming to Bilam. He says, okay, help me, curse this nation for me. There's a whole back and forth. The entire, the big chunk of the parasha of them going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I can do it, I can't do it, Hashem won't let me, I'll give you tons of money. There's a whole back and forth. Eventually, he goes against Hashem's advice. As a matter of fact, there's a mitzvah of Aseret Zechirot. Every single day there's a mitzvah to remember certain things. Every single day you have to remember.
Bilam is one of them.
So it says over here, one of the Aseret Zechirot that we say every single day
מה שיעשו בעולם.
is,
That's not good.
and I'm going to read it from here.
Tight.
ומה שיעצו בלק ובלעם לעשות לאבותינו למען דעת צדקות השם. Look at this. This is something never forget. Never forget. This is one of these never forgets. In other words, don't forget Yetziat Mitzrayim. Don't forget Shabbat. Don't forget the Man. Don't forget Amalek. Don't forget Har Sinai. Don't forget how the Jewish people angered the Hashem with the Egel. Don't forget Balak and Bilam, how they went. Look at every day we have to remember it. This is not something that you should pass over. It's like two funny characters in the middle of the summer. Balak and Bilam wanted to destroy the Jewish people, and this is the first time that the people want to annihilate the Jews. Paro wanted to get rid of the boys. These two Rishayim wanted to annihilate the Jews. This is the first example that we have of it. That's what we have to remember it. It's deeper than just a sorcerer trying to get rid of us. Not only that, what was his power? They say, the Gemara says that there's one split second in the day that Hashem gets very angry, or has some sort of midah of anger. And Bilam knew that moment, and that's the moment he wanted to say the curse. Meanwhile, it never happened for him. But you can understand that this is a very calculated, very dangerous moment. And while all this is happening, the Jewish people are beknownst to it. Everything's happening normal. Everything's happening. They have no clue that Bilam and Balak are on the mountain, that he's setting up altars and bringing korbanot, and that he's trying to make this happen from this side or from that side.
Conspiracy against them.
Conspiracy.
Against them, but they're oblivious to this. Why? Because they're going with Darkei Hashem, so they don't have to worry about
So
any conspiracy behind their back.
So we're going to go into 3 or 4 different events with Balak and Bilam, and we're going to see how it ties into our everyday. Listen to this. We have the famous story of Bilam going on the donkey. Right? He's going on the donkey. All of a sudden the donkey goes to the left. Bam! Crushes his foot.
Malach.
He says, no, what's going on? Go to the right. Goes a little bit more. Boom! Gets another hit on the right leg. So what's going on? You've never failed me. You've never acted this way before. What's good? How come this is happening? He goes to the third. Vaigal Elohim et einav. What's Vaigal? Hashem raised a curtain from his eyes. You have to understand that our human eyes have many, many curtains on top of them. Should Hashem lift one curtain up, we see a whole different universe.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I'll give you just an example. Right now, there's thousands of spirits around us. Right now.
Wow.
You have 11,000 around you. I have 11,000 around me. You have 11,000 around you. It says, 1,000 מימיnecha ורבבה מימיnecha. 1,000 משמאלך, no, 1,000 מצדך ורבבה מימיnecha. There's angels waiting to get activated. In other words, do a mitzvah, the angel goes up. Do an avirah, the angel goes up. They're all floating. They're waiting for work.
So what? All these crazy people that they see, they say, oh, I see things, I hear things. So it's really maybe they see
Who
things.
knows? Maybe they're tapped into a dimension that we're not
Because
privy
we're not
to.
allowed to see it. Why we not? Because then we can go Michigan.
Exactly. So there's a famous story of a guy that says, okay, I want to see things. And you know, there's that whole famous story of a cat. It's a female, a black cat, the baby of a black cat that's also a
ashes.
female.
Oh,
Burn
the-
it, the ashes, put it over the eyes. Then you can see it. And there's a rabbi that did it, and then he was hard for him to come back from it. You know, it's out there if you want to, for anyone who wants to try it out. But basically, we've got a lot of screens on our eyes. Hashem says this is what you need to see. But should Hashem lift up one screen, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world.
You could not.
So what?
You could not live normally. You know.
No, definitely not. Our mind won't be able to be processed of all those images and go on normally.
Now,
Yeah,
the
but a
Machrit.
butterfly is actually today now could see like I think 10 or more colors than we can. There's more colors in this world.
Interesting.
We're incapable of seeing it.
I believe that.
It's
Too
amazing.
So Hashem lifted up one curtain over Bilam's eyes, and who does he see all of a sudden? An angel holding a sword in front of him. Oh, had I known, he says. By the way, that came to his benefit, because what did he do? As soon as he saw the angel, said, "Oh, I'm sorry, he did tshuva. I didn't know." He was smart. He knew the concept of tshuva. He says, "I'm sorry, I didn't know," and he stopped. Later on, we'll see how it comes into play. But basically, he comes and he sees now the angel, and he stops. What's the Musar Heskel? Without going too deep into it, before I speak about the donkey, he says in life, don't be Bilam. Why? You're going through life. You say, you know what? I want to start a new job. I want to start a new business. I want to start a new shidduch. I want to start something new in life. And all of a sudden, break. Okay, it's not going. Oh, let me try again. Another break. When things like that happen, it's not for no reason. When Hashem wants the beracha, it flows, it goes. In life, when you're eating too many breaks, for whatever it is that you choose, think to yourself, don't be a Bilam. That you see you're going against the flow, you're going against the beracha, you're going against the energy that's supposed to go for you, and you're still going for it. Bilam had his leg crushed up against the wall. The person lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The guy's going on the wrong shidduch with the wrong girl. Pay attention. Be in tune. That when the beracha comes, there's a flow, there's an energy, it feels right. The minute you start seeing breaks in your life, stop and say, hey, there's no flow here. There's a reason why things are not going my way. What should I do? Don't wait for the second and third and fourth and fifth break until Hashem has to open up your eyes, had to lift up a screen so you can see what the problem is. We learn from Bilam to have an antenna up and be sensitive to life and what life throws your way. Because there's some people that you see, they wake up in the morning and all day long they're eating breaks. All day long they're like hitting walls, and it's part of their life. They accept it. As opposed to saying, wait, let's press reset. Where's there a flow? In life, look for the flow. The minute there's a stoppage, do introspect.
My aunt says dead fish go with the flow.
Oh yeah?
So I don't know.
I love that. I love that though.
She's like, don't go with the flow.
Depends on what it is.
No, I love that. I love
Depends on
that.
what it is.
But we're talking about humans, not fish.
Depends on what it is.
All I know is, and when you're pushing and it's not going, like for example, failing businesses. I don't know if you've ever met anybody with a failing business that they're so emotionally tied to it. So hard for them.
It's a gambling.
It's 5 years. I've been into it. It's my baby. It's my life savings. It'll get better. Listen to me. It's already 3 seasons you're not making money. You used up all your savings. You know, no, one more. You're not reading the signs. You become a dead fish.
No, that makes sense what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
right.
I think she means like, don't when
It's a
someone
good
says,
saying.
don't become when someone's trying to do the
Yeah, tizom.
Like,
Yeah,
I
100%.
want the
Not in this
context.
context.
Yeah, I get it.
But in this context, definitely not, because he was warned by Hashem himself not to go originally, and then he persisted, and then Hashem said, "Okay, go."
Yeah.
So you should have known by now that something is not right. And then he's on the donkey, and the donkey is squeezing him here, and he's doing strange things. If he had been a righteous person, he'd say, you know what, Hashem originally told me not to go. So that's the context in which you have to understand that there's a message, you know. Of course, if you're doing something that the Torah commands to do, you're doing mitzvahs, and you know that that's what Hashem wants, and you consult rabbis and you consult people who are wise, and they tell you, yes, you may have obstacles, and you have to be like against the flow in that case.
That's why you have to listen to rabbis and all this.
Yeah.
אחרת, כמו שאומרים, בדרך שהבן אדם רוצה ללכת בה, מוליכים אותו.
That's right.
If it's the wrong path, like he says, like you're going to continue, you're going to beat on a dead horse, you know, I mean, you get nowhere.
So here we are. Balak is on the way now. Even though that he, we don't want to get too much into the talking donkey. It's a whole different story. But I just want to tell you something. Hollywood has nothing on Achumash. Shrek is 3,000 years old. That's all I can tell you. Okay, but it says that finally when he gets there, he starts to do this thing. He starts to go to different mountains, and he starts to do these korbanot. He says, give me this ayil, give me this par, I'll do this over here, 7 over here, 6 over there. Didn't work. Okay, let's go over there. Let's go do it again. We'll do this mizbeach, we do it this way, we do it that way. We're constantly doing
He
it.
thought that he can appease God, like, oh look, I'm doing a korbanot for you. It's like kilo, like, it's like kissing God, I don't want to say, but it's not, it's so stupid.
It's exactly that. It's a mentality of a goy versus the mentality of a Jew. The difference of how a goy prays and the difference of how a Jew prays. Listen to this. The pasuk says, "Vayomer Balak el Bilam, lecha na ikachecha el makom acher, ulai shar be'enai Elohim vekavot olim misham." What does he say? It's not working. It's not working. It's not me that's the problem. It's the place that's the problem. You know what?
God doesn't like this place.
Right. It's this place. Me, there's nothing wrong with me. It's the place that's not that's not good. That's why Hashem is not accepting the answer. What do we say in Judaism? Tikva lecha makom. When we pray, we go pray. We don't say, okay, you know what? My prayer's not answered over here. Tomorrow I pray b'Chabad. Doesn't go. Now I'm going to go pray Breslev. Doesn't go. Now I'm going to go be constantly saying, let me see where Hashem hears my prayer. It's not that. A Jewish person goes to a shul, finds a spot, and he stays there. And the Gemara says that the person, when he chooses a spot, there's a pipe from the Shamayim that is custom made for him. He can move about 4 amot to the left, 4 amot to the right. In other words, somebody comes and sits in your space. Don't fight with him for the spot. It's still, as long as you're in the same vicinity, your pipe is still there. Why? You ask somebody to go sit completely on the other side of the room, they feel weird.
Yeah.
They feel, it's not my spot, I'm not used to this area. But at the same time, when somebody sits on your seat, don't give him a hard time. You still have the 4 amot all around. Why? When we sit over there for like a few months, for 3, that's it. Somebody wants to move, you tell them, Rabbi, please, I opened up my pipe over here. This is my spot. Because why? You made the place keva. And what happens? A Jew every day walks to that same spot, and what does he do? And he prays and he prays and prays. He doesn't get answered. He doesn't say it's because of where I'm sitting. He says, no, I have to pray again. Kaveh v'kaveh Hashem. In other words, I keep praying and I keep praying and I keep praying. The goy, what does he say? This place, I can't get hurt over here. I have to go pray somewhere else.
He's like somebody who doesn't know how to dance. He said the
floor is crooked. It's exactly that. So look at this. Bilam, the biggest sorcerer of all. What does he blame? He blames the crooked floor. Now, at the end,
also has an ego, and they give him a lot of money. He wants to show like
Money
he's worth something.
at the end of the day, he only says, I can only do what I can with the people that he's looking at the Jewish people and he's saying, I can only say what Hashem puts in my mouth. Ends up to be what? That he's blessing them. Now, look at this pasuk. Pasuk Tet in Perek Chavdal, it says, Kara shachav kari v'chravi mi yekimenu mevarechecha varuch v'orecha aruch. The one who blesses you is blessed, and whoever curses you, he is cursed.
Now, by the way, now it seems that the Christians use this a lot. Those Christians that love Israel. You know, you have those Christians that love Israel in America, so they use...
You are 1,000,000% right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a personal story about that. Christians that love Jews are very, very in tune to this pasuk.
Yeah.
That whoever blesses a Jew is blessed, and whoever is cursing a Jew is cursed. And here's my story with that. About 6 or 7 years ago, no more, let's say 10 years ago. I had a job of, I was going around the country. I find myself in Texas. And I find these people, I think I told it to you boys in Seudah Shlishit class.
It's where Lankry somewhere.
No, somewhere else. I found myself in Texas in whatever job that I was doing. And one of the agents over there asks me, what is that name? What is that name, Sharone? I told him it's a Jewish name. I'm Jewish. I'm from Israel. His jaw dropped. I must have been the first Jew that he's seen in his life. I don't know. He's like, you're Jewish? Oh my God, God bless you. May Hashem may God bless you, and may you should have a good life. I was like, okay, cool, dude. This bracha out of nowhere, 9 o'clock in the morning.
אבל אז היית שומר מצוות או
לא? No, this is before my tshuva. This is when I was...
you was like a mess, you did not know where it's coming from.
I did not. But later on, when I started to go into the Torah, and I saw this, I realized that this is what they were trying to activate. The following day, 9 o'clock, the guy's there with 11 people.
Wow.
His entire family, grandchildren, kids, they all stood up, and they all stood over there, and they're like, God bless you.
Aye.
God bless you. We just want to bless you.
They want blessing for themselves.
Huh?
And I thought it was so off the wall. What's going on here? Did they ever see like a darkie or something? You know, like what is it? I'm in the middle of Texas. And at that time, it was a little bit, it threw me a little bit off. But what were they mekayem? They were mekayem mevarechecha baruch. Remember the one that blesses you, he's blessed. The guy was actually trying to bless himself by blessing me. Varurecha aru. Whoever curses you is cursed. By the way, during that same time, 8 o'clock Thursday night, Texas TV is stadium-sized churches, 50, 40, 30,000 congregants in one place. The guy's on a huge screen. Subject matter, we love Israel. I was in shock. I never saw this type of Christianity in my life. They were so supportive of Israel, this and that. I was shocked. Middle America loves the Jews and loves Israel. What can we say? That throughout history they killed thousands, if not millions, of Jews in the process. I don't know if we give them credit just for being soft with us in the past few years. In general, Christianity killed more Jews than any other religion. But my experience not too long ago was that they wanted to lekayem mevarechecha baruch varuchecha aru, which was very, very interesting. Now,
I'll tell you what happens. I used to be in the other religion, and that's one of the things that happens, that they read in the Bible, but for many years it was not relevant to them, because it really started to get more force after the creation of the State of Israel, and the fact that Israelis became allied to the United States, and Americans started to visit Israel. And a lot of them are Christians. They went to the Christian holy places, and after the 6-day war, they received the news like it's a miracle it's a nest from Hashem. That's the proof. They're trying to preach to other people who are atheists or they are not strong Christians. So if you want to know that God exists, look at Israel, look at the Jewish people. Look at the miracle of the wars, how they win the wars.
Mark Twain said that to people who does not believe in God, just look at the history of the Jewish people and says it must be God.
So in modern times and then also because if Israel, Chas v'Shalom, had been a backward country like Saudi Arabia, like Africa, somewhere, they wouldn't be too impressed. But when they come, they go there and they come speaking, you know what, it's so technified, so modern. It reminds them of America in many ways. To know that it's a country in the Middle East, but it has technology, it has democracy.
Nobel Peace Prize.
So they feel free over there. Whereas they won't feel free going to Egypt or Syria. So in Israel, they feel like they're back in America in many ways, So all of a sudden, this movement started. It's a movement that started in favor of Israel because a tremendous success for them. They don't understand Torah, but they know, well, if Israel is doing well, if they are building roads and they're building cities, and it's
then the blessing is with them.
It has to be because Hashem blessed them, and so they don't want to miss that. They want to be a part of it. They want to send money over there. They want to visit. They want to do stuff. The partnership.
They give a lot of money to Israel, by the way.
There's a superstar in their world, a superstar pastor called Pastor Hagee.
Yeah, he lives there.
He's a big, chubby guy.
He gave $5 million to what's his name?
I will tell that story right now. Listen to this story. Pastor Hagee, big supporter of Israel, but he's also a very doomsday kind of guy. If you know about him, it's all about the end of the world, but he's very pro-Israel. About a few months ago, there was a beautiful story going around between Pastor Hagee and Rabbi
from Yokneam, I forgot the name.
Green.
He's very famous in Israel. Machzir B'tshuva,
Yeah.
and does a lot.
There's a very unique rabbi that's been around.
Who?
Uh-huh.
Rabbi who? What's his
He's a rabbi that took over a town and turned it
Yokneam.
and turn over
A
Yokneam,
rabbi.
Greenville,
Yeah.
something like
He
that.
doesn't have a beard.
He does, long white beard.
He has a beard?
If somebody could Google it while I'm telling the story, this particular rabbi was did a tremendous work in Israel. Not only did he took over a town and he opened up schools.
He used to go to discotheque. He used to go to discotheque.
They used to call him the
Friday night,
discotheque rabbi.
And he used to lay down over there. They said, don't let them because it's Chilul Shabbat.
The people?
Yeah.
He would go to nightclubs on Friday nights because he would have all the Jews over there. He'd stand in the middle of the dance floor and they'd turn down the music and they'd sit down with the rabbi and they would listen to him talk. True story. Inside nightclubs. Long white beard, peot. He got the country's biggest reward.
הוא לא חסיד, הוא לא חסיד.
To make a long story short, he's very highly recognized in Israel. He did a lot of
He has
chesed.
עמותות.
He has a lot of foundations. I will get the name, Be'ezat Hashem. Bli neder. So this particular rabbi, who has many amazing stories. One time, one of my clients told me an amazing story with him, a client from Brazil, but this story is better. He was coming to America to get funding for a project for orphans. The project was roughly in the 2 million mark, and he was trying to get.
No, he was missing $5 million for the building the orphanage.
Right, for orphans. He comes to America, and he didn't have such a successful trip. On the way back, he wasn't feeling well. Now, his style was, when he was flying, he would never fly first class. He says, how can I be the guy that goes to America or to Israel asking people for donations? How can I be that guy in first class? So he always flew coach. But that particular time, he was very sick. He wasn't feeling well. But he's so famous in Israel that the flight attendants recognized him and then told him, Rabbi, listen, we have an extra seat in first class. Come to first class. You don't have to pay, you don't have to do anything. He goes, no, I can't. I cannot do it because the Mar'it Ayn, I don't want to see people.
But this
people
is going from Israel to America. This going from Israel to America to collect the money.
From
So
Israel.
back, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's not on the way back. It's happened in the way from Israel to America.
Okay, from
Either
Israel to
way,
America. Or if the other way, whatever it is, it's still a beautiful story, whichever direction he's going. He was feeling
No, because I'll tell you after this why. Because
he was feeling so weak. He says, you know what, I never really do this, but I really need to lay down. I'm not feeling good. He obliged and he went to first class. He's sitting in first class. Who does he see next to him? Big chubby guy with his wife next to him. They're working on a laptop and the rabbi's right next to him. So as they're sitting on the plane together, the rabbi didn't want to be rude, because when you're with the hat and the kippah and the peot, you're representing. So you don't want to be rude, but he was so sick, he wasn't feeling well. So as he was trying to get comfortable in the seat, apparently the...
No, wait. No, wait. He gave him his laptop computer to this guy, to Hagi.
Oh yeah,
And to
that's
show
right,
him
that's right.
what he does and what he wants to build an orphanage to see. And meanwhile, he was laying down and like
Yes,
trying to
yes.
relax.
So they were talking between one another, and they're saying, so what do you do? He goes to them, well, I'm a rabbi in Israel, and I'm on a trip right now trying to raise money for an orphanage. As a matter of fact, it says, give me your laptop, I'll show you. He went on his page, he showed him, this is the orphanage, this is the people.
No,
this-
he gave him his laptop.
Hagi.
הרב נתן להגי את
הלפטופ שלו.
שלו שעם כל
מודיעין.
So he shows it to him over there. And then after they chit-chatted for a little bit, he wanted to just lay down to relax. Now what happened? As he was moving around, he made the laptop topple over. And he was so nervous that he did that, he got up, and when he came to he was so nervous that he did that, he got up, and he came to Pastor Hagi, and he kissed him on his forehead. And he says, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Now this guy that's next to him, we said this Pastor Hagi that we're from this.
He didn't know who Pastor
He doesn't know. He doesn't
The guy
know.
has millions.
Now listen to what
He doesn't
Pastor
know that he's American, that's it.
Pastor Hagi turns to
He
his
doesn't know
wife.
even if he's Jewish or not Jewish. He doesn't know this.
He turns into his wife and he says, you know,
Hashem sent this man here.
he says, you know, Hashem works in mysterious ways. He says, we are on a trip also, and we have money with us.
No, they say they came from Israel. They had $5 million check, and they went to all kind of places. They showed them all kind of places because they want the money, and they did not feel that this is the right place for this
That's
money
right.
to go. And I said to my wife, somebody will show me. I want to donate to orphanage, and whoever was one that will kiss me in the forehead.
Really?
Yeah.
He
And
said-
that's my wife. He said.
He said, he made like a condition. He made a condition. He says, I want to give it to a place that they wanted to connect with, and the place that I'm going to give the money to, I want it to be a sign where a person comes and kisses my forehead.
Yeah, that is the right place.
That will be the sign that this is the right place.
And it's exactly $5
And look
million.
who comes. The rabbi comes. $5 million.
And it's exactly what they
Kisses his
needed.
forehead.
And it's exactly what they needed.
What the odds?
And
זה
the
הכל
rabbi was
בשמיים,
like,
הכל בשמיים, בגלל
he
שהוא
felt
צדיק
awkward about it.
גדול.
He did it like he
What's
didn't-
the odds?
spazzed out
The
over
rabbi
it.
says, I don't know what brought me to even kiss the guy on the forehead. He's like this American.
Amazing.
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 Okay? That's one story.
Amazing.
Now, I'd like to say one last thing and then we'll turn it over. At the end of the parasha, something very interesting that leads up to next week's parasha, Parashat Pinchas. But I'm not going to go to the whole story, just this one part of Bnot Moav. Bnot Moav, what are they doing there on the border? Bilam, at the end of the day, said one thing. I wasn't able to curse it, but I'll give you $1 million tip, Balak. I said, okay, what's the tip? Because he says the Jewish God hates Zima. That's my tip to you.
Huh?
My tip to you is that the Jewish God can't stand Zima. What's Zima?
Not nice things.
Not nice things that have to do with women and such.
Not new, not to do things you're not.
So, what did he do? He took all the most beautiful women and they sent him to the border.
I'm sorry, I said not nice things. God likes nice things. That people do nice things. And not a nice act. Not
Nice
a nice
act.
act. That's the right. Everybody who says things and it's the wrong thing. Somebody who does not speak Hebrew, so what did it say?
It's lost in translation. So it says over here that Bnot Moav started to come to the border where the Jewish people are, and they started liznot el Vayeshev Yisrael bashitim vayachel ha'am liznot el Bnot Moav. They started to mix with the people over there. Now, What's the story here? The story here is that they're following the advice of Bilam. Balak takes his daughter and he says to her, you go in there and you get me their leader. You get me Moshe. And take all the women with you. And they took the most beautiful women and they started to come to the Jewish camp. How did they get in there?
They were selling.
Exactly. They started to sell trinkets.
Business.
Trinkets.
They had a kiosk, a set of kiosks.
Yeah. They would start, Jewish people, they love shopping. So they'd start to come with bracelets and trinkets and jewelry. And they're like, oh, beautiful stuff. Yes. So they tell them, oh, you like what you see here? Come into my tent. You could see more.
Well, actually, the Midrash says they put not so beautiful women outside, like put a fat, middle-aged woman, and though the Jews were kind of trusted, they say it's not so provoking. And then they say, you know what? If you want a good deal inside, there's a better, like lower price and this and that. So inside there was a beautiful
beautiful
girl.
Love
They made
that.
the Jews drink wine.
Yes.
Drink wine that was yayin nesech, and then
Right, so now this is the Jews. Remember, where all the time the Jews were drinking the Be'er Miriam and they were eating the man. So now they bring them inside, and once they're inside, they let them drink wine. The wine got them tipsy. As they started tipsy, they told them, okay, drink with us, eat with us. Why did they tell them to eat? Because they didn't eat for so long, so they got in order for them, why? All this in order for them to create waste. Why to create?
Because of all these things, it's Chachamenu did the Bishulakum, Benetzech, וכל הדבר, לא היה את הדבר הזה.
So why did they ask him to drink and to eat with them? Because all this would create waste in their stomach. And by creating waste, they were able to work to do the avodah zarah of that time, and the worship of that time, the avodah zarah of that time was Baal Peor. What's Baal Peor? The most disgusting everything that you could ever be is that it's a avodah zarah. That the way you worship it is you go in front of it and you defecate. Okay, so they brought him, they lured him, they let them drink, they let him eat. That they brought him to do avodah zarah over there. That's how they got in trouble.
Which is
Now,
the connection between avodah zarah and zenut. There is a symbolism that when people commit avodah zarah, Hashem takes it as infidelity, marital infidelity.
No, avodah zarah. The reason why a lot of people stray away from the religion because avodah zarah gives them the right to do arayot without being accountable to it. Because avodah zarah most of the time lets you do things with arayot. It's allowed.
Yeah, and it's an infidelity. It's a strange woman, a strange religion. It's not what you're married to Hashem. That's your partner. And all of a sudden you go off to somebody who is strange. If Solomon
It's connected. It's connected.
Solomon talks about it.
So here we are, Baal Peor. They're doing this and they get in trouble. Next week, Parashat will go more into detail. But I wanted to go into just to isolate this incident over here. Also keep in mind that when Moshe passes away, where is he buried? Right in front of Peor, face to face. And the Midrash says that every year Peor stands up and Moshe Rabbeinu goes in front of him and Peor goes back down. But what happens in the process? Peor says, I'm coming into power. And Moshe says, no, you're not. The Jewish people are still around. He goes back down and they go back down. What does this mean? Think about it. If there's one thing that up until today, whether you're a Jew or a Gentile, that you say, you know what, this is my limit. In other words, nowadays, all the lines are starting to get, it's not black and white anymore. It's very gray, if not all a rainbow almost. Almost anything goes nowadays.
No, but everything legalized. Not it's legalized.
Everything
Marriage
goes.
of gay people, everything becomes like if you talk against it, you are the not good now.
Exactly.
You're afraid now to say anything because people look at you like you just came down from the tree.
But what's one thing that Jews and Gentiles say, Adkan, I have a limit. The bathroom. Every person, when he goes into the bathroom, what does he do? I have to close the door. Privacy. Up until here. Up until the bathroom is where everything goes outside of the bathroom, but when it comes to the bathroom, I close the door. What does Paro say? No closing door. The one thing
maybe
that
there is another reason for this.
maybe, but this
Because no, people there's such a good statistics nowadays. They think the shit does not smell.
What? What do you say?
so this Paro says a life of no rules. That's the lifestyle. That the one thing that every person, whether Jew or Gentile, gets, that's their border, that they go and they always have to go behind the tree, they have to go into a room, they have to go this, they need their privacy. Paro says no. In public, in front of everybody, no rules. Comes the Jewish people, what are we? We are rules. We have borders. We have chukim. We have mitzvot. We have all these 613 Taryag mitzvot that we follow. We have limits. So whenever Paro comes to the world and says, yes, men and men can get married, yes, try, buy, all these different things that are going on, Moshe Rabbeinu says, no. The world is not going to go into chaos where anything goes. The Jewish people are still around. The Jewish people are still going to keep all the laws and all the mitzvot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You are not going to be in control. And Paro goes back down. And every year, it happens. Paro tries to get a rise. Moshe comes and tells him the Jewish people are still here. Because keep in mind, this Avodah Zarah is a very strange Avodah Zarah. But the symbolism of this Avodah Zarah, no rules. A life of no rules. That even the most sacred thing that any human being, regardless of the religion, says, give me my privacy, it says, no privacy, no rules. Anything goes. Completely opposite of what the Jew is. Very, very interesting parasha. A lot of different concepts. But Baruch Hashem, this is a good lead up to next week's lead up
about
of
24,000 that died.
That's next week.
And you said, by the way, peor is a Spanish word.
Worse.
It's worse. You know that. So
Yes.
ba está malo, and there is peor. It's something bad, and there's
Even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peor. Yeah. So I wonder if there's a connection.
Bechavo, turn it in. Let me give a chidush.
That's
Yeah.
not
No,
a little bit. It's if Moshe Rabbeinu comes up, right? And let's say Paro goes up, right? Moshe Rabbeinu comes down. If Paro goes down, why would Moshe Rabbeinu go down? Even though the Torah was still existing in this world, why does he have to go down with Paro? That's my question.
It's symbolism. It's just here. It's meaning to say, let the world have no rules and no boundaries. And Moshe says it's not going to be a world of no rules and no boundaries. The Jewish people are still around keeping Torah mitzvot.
So still be the same. Right?
Yes. I think this is a Rashi. Let me try to find it. Let's go around the room. Who has chidushim for this week? Shlomo, bechavod.
Okay, it says, ויבוא אלוקים אל בלעם, ויאמר מי האנשים האלה? מי האנשים עמך? You know, when the משלחת of the dignitary, they came, that Balak sent to him in order to convince him with money and everything also, to convince him to curse the Jewish people, to do something. So God is telling Balaam, מי האנשים האלה? Where in the Torah we heard that God appeared to twice the Torah in Bereshit, בתחילת בראשית, שאדם עשה את החטא אדם וחווה, הקדוש ברוך הוא בא אליהם ואמר להם, איפה אתם? הוא לא יודע איפה אתם? אייכה. קין שהרג את הבל, הוא אמר, היכן אחיך? איפה? הוא לא יודע מה עשה, לא זה. So what's the difference? What the difference between there and here? The difference is with Adam and with Cain, God gave room for them to be לחזור בתשובה. Here, it has nothing to do with לחזור בתשובה. It has to do with God wants to give him like you have, how we call it, a choice, because really, God told him in the beginning, you cannot go curse the Jewish people. You cannot. That's it. You cannot. So he took the choice from Balaam. So now, he's giving him the choice. Now he can that he will think he will think that God, really, you know what, God doesn't know everything if he asks me. You know, if he asks me, mi anashim ha'ele, so probably God doesn't know
Everything.
It doesn't know everything, so I can do whatever I want. So he's giving where we see something similar to this in the Torah with Paro. ויכבד את ליבו. למה, the Rambam say, why God הכביד את ליבו? Because after seeing all the miracles and everything, all these things, he would say, okay, get out of here. But no, he wants that he will have a choice. So he's מצד אחד, הוא הכביד את ליבו, ואז from his רצון, he will let the Jewish people go. Not because he saw all this miracle, he knows how mighty God is. So this is what I want to say.
And also, he was playing a game with them. They sent messengers. He didn't like, they were too low level. So he ignored them or sent them back. Then they sent some messengers on a higher level.
Yeah.
יותר מכובדים.
And more money.
And then he said, even if you give me all the money that you have, it's still not going to be enough. In other words, he was
I need more.
He was sizing them up. You came with 2 donkeys. How much money is there? Not enough. He says, even if you come with the whole castle, it's not going to be enough. Because at the end of the day, why?
He loved money.
What was his thinking? To win the Jewish people, the guy before us came with thousands of people. Okay? And they lost. How much does it cost to feed thousands of soldiers? How much does it cost to get the armory and the weaponry for thousands of people?
Yeah.
How much does it cost to make it happen for 1 day, for 1 week, for 1 month? He says, all that has a value, right? What I'm going to say, just my word, has more than that value. So he's telling him, if you give me all the money in the world, it's going to still be cheaper for you than to do
He's a businessman.
Big time. He was tzavua. He was a big tzavua. He was trying to. He was a faker. He always says, always I want to do the right thing, but at the back of the side, he says, even if you give me all the money in the world, with a wink in his eye, I can't do it. Fill it up over there, showing them how much he's looking to get.
And I put it in the pocket without me seeing.
This parasha is talking about the talking donkey. The Midrash says the donkey was created on the 6th day of creation. Before, so there were 7 things that were created. One was the hole that swallowed Korach. The donkey was the stick that Moshe had. And this donkey then afterwards disappeared. Hashem killed him because he embarrassed a human being. I mean, those are very strange things, that happen.
Sure.
A donkey cannot be above a human being. But this idea, this parasha, beautiful. Ma tovu halecha Yaakov. This is the real essence of everything. When you say that, the real essence of the Jewish people is limud. Ma tovu halecha Yaakov mishkenotecha. That's one of the times.
What did he see? He saw that the 10 doors are not facing each other.
Yeah.
One door is here, one door is there.
Sneeze.
Yeah.
News. But also the tents represent the Torah, the study of the Torah. What we're doing right now, which is the essence of the Jew, is limud. If you think of it, all Judaism, it says limud Torah keneged kulam. It says any other mitzvah, when you study Torah, a Jew without limud, without studying Torah, you get weakened. Judaism is other religions where they have music and they have songs and they have things and in Judaism I have to understand it because I come from other background. That Judaism is about limud, it's about Talmud, it's the essence of
study.
A Jew gets strong when you study. Lomed Torah, ma tovu halecha. The Jews need to go to the ohalim, to the ohel of the limud Torah.
That's from this connection to last Chukat. Chukat, why God gave the red heifer? Because to show you that our limitation, there is limitation. We don't know everything. We don't know. even
And
God
we
wants
accept.
us. God wants us to learn the reason behind, and to know this, because by learning, then you know better, and you continue learning, and you become closer to God. But He still wants us to know that as much as you learn, and you think that you know the reason for the mitzvot and the tam mitzvot, this is not the real tam. In the end, I will בעולם הבא will know the real things. But He wants you to learn. He wants you
He
to
wants
learn.
to know some new things without understanding them.
It's not.
Aduma, Shatnez,
He doesn't want you.
Azazel.
He doesn't want you to do the mitzvot because that you know the time of this. Because I'm telling you, no, I'm gonna eat kosher because kosher it's more healthy. That's what a lot of non-Jews, they think that they buy kosher food because they think that it's more healthy and more this, So but that's not the reason
The
why.
Jew eats kosher because that's what Hashem said.
Because Hashem told us to eat kosher.
No,
But yes, you can still find the nice reason and the nice this. It's very nice, but not why. Because if that's why you're gonna do the mitzvot, in the end you're not gonna do it. Because it's very easy to find also reason why not.
Yeah.
Why this?
It's not a reason for everything, but the limud itself, there's limud lishma. There's, even if you don't understand, even if you don't get anything from it,
but
you're still commanded to lomek
You get
Torah.
the sahar for the amal.
The amal, the fact that you study Torah is an end in itself. You don't study for another. You don't say, okay, I'm going to study now so that I become wise, and then people respect me, and then I become somebody big.
You study because you have to.
You study. There's no graduation. It never finishes. It never the end. It's like you say, okay, now I studied law or medicine or engineer. That's it. I'm going to relax now. There, you have to study. It's a mitzvah in itself. The limud itself is a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah of sit down and study, because I guess it's not just that you learn things; it's that you connect. Even when you're not understanding everything. The fact that you sit down to lomed, you're connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's one of the ways of connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through the limud of the
learning and doing the mitzvot is a way for you to connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The more you do mitzvot, the more you study, the more you'll understand the Jewish God, or the God in general. But that's what people don't understand. Gentiles, everything that they do has a reason. Everything that they do has a reason. There's not one thing in their religion that doesn't have a why and a because. Why do we do this? Because of that. Judaism, we have that. Why do we do this? Because of that. Why is this? Because we were commanded. And then there's things we're doing because we just don't understand. And one of the biggest things philosophers throughout history, they want to know, what is this red heifer? What is this paraduma?
Nobody. Even Shlomo HaMelech.
Even Shlomo HaMelech, the only person that really knew it is Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the only one that knew the answer. That's why it's called Parat Moshe Rabbeinu.
Wow.
Because he's the only one that knew the reason to it.
I want to say something about Bilam, and I think this should be a message for all of us at this time that we're living in the world today.
That we shouldn't curse nobody.
That's one big thing, but another the thing with Bilam, it seems like he's a guy who is ready to curse Israel Chas v'Shalom for money. He loved money. But another midrashim.
He loves money and he was very cheap.
Yeah, but another midrashim, you realize that he hates the Jews even without money. When he was with Pharaoh, he soneh otam min halev. So why does he need money?
He was one of Pharaoh's advisors.
Yeah,
him, Yitro, and
So
Yov, was it?
Yov,
because he was a smart businessman. He was a smart businessman.
But there's a message.
He said, I hate the Jews. That's excellent, but if I can make money, it's even better.
But there's a message for us here, and it's a very dangerous situation, because if he's a person who hates Jews without even getting paid money, so the question comes then, why is he increasing the price? I mean, he's willing to give advice on how to destroy the Jews. He doesn't want to see the Jews. If it's a person like that do it for ideological reason, then it's not for money. And if it's for money, then it's not for ideology. He doesn't care about the Jews. It could be the Jews, it could be the Africans.
You have to understand he was part of the dark side.
Well, you know,
He's part of the dark side.
You know-
He was the biggest representative of the dark side in their history.
I have something to learn from these for me, and I hope that for the world. That unfortunately I heard from some rabbis talking today. There was a time when money, maybe 100 years ago, the Jews lived in Europe, in the Arab countries. Money was not the main thing in the world. You had rabbis, you had Jews, sometimes living even in Jerusalem in small, big rabbis that wrote books. You know, talking about, it comes to my mind, you know, people like the Hazon Ish and others that I know, that I heard, that they live like simple, very simple people. And you look at the world today, what's happening, and it's all about money. So we're coming to the money thing. You find now big people, including inside the Torah world. But the goal is now, the culture is Tarbut America, is a Tarbut that has gone inside Yiddishkeit, even in Israel, to have big houses, big cars, pools, travel. Nothing wrong with that, if Hashem gives it to you. But the wrong is where it could come to the point where it compromises or taints your Yiddishkeit, or you can enter in some kind of deal and say, you know what, I'm a big rabbi, I'm a big leader, I'm a big well-known Jew. Maybe, you know, I become famous, I enter in some kind of deal. Maybe I can lower down the standards of kashrut, or the standards of this.
The biggest rabbis in our current history,
They're not going to do
like
it.
Rabbi Ovadia
Yeah.
and Rabbi...
That's small rabbi. It's not the
I'm
big
not
rabbi.
mentioning- I'm
They
not-
still walk up 4 flights of stairs
Yeah.
and live in a standard apartment,
Well,
not a home,
that's-
in Israel. I mean, Zichronam Livracha.
Yeah.
But you can see there's a lot of videos on YouTube that you can see about Jewish rabbis. They
Yeah.
do some TV shows saying, let's look into the life of the rabbis.
Yeah.
And they're shocked. They're shocked.
Yeah.
They come to this rabbi that he's holding one of the highest positions in Israel
Yeah, yeah.
as a rabbi, head of a community.
הרב שטיימן, תראה איך הוא גר. It's not...
The real rabbis, the original
Yeah.
ones, it's like
That's
that.
the truth. That's the truth. But there's a danger with all of this. That the what I am willing to say in all of this, that if a man like Bilam is able to try to curse the Jews, to destroy them for money, he's also able to do it without money. And that's the lesson. If you're able to compromise or to do certain things and pretend that you are within Yiddishkeit, the Jewish world, but on the back you're doing back dealings for the sake of money,
that's not good.
it means it's not just for the money. It's like Bilam, you would do it eventually even for the sake of hatred of.
But
Let's
there is
just
a
say
difference.
there is and there is.
There is a difference. Nowadays, there is a lot of, I want us to answer something. There is a lot, I'm looking this in positive, not in negative. There is a lot of people that you have to bring them back to tshuva. And if those rabbis won't they won't look nice, they want this to presentable, they will not talk, they wouldn't, they won't have a nice place, the people won't look at them as successful, because how we measure success? With money. So if it looks like a poor guy, I'm not going to listen. I'm going to so let's say for example, I'm looking at University of Florida. University of Florida, there is a big Chabad, beautiful. Wow, what they did over there and what they do over there for the kids. All the kids over there, they're not Shomer Shabbat, they're not this. But listen, if he's not going to make it beautiful and all these things and look nice, they're not going to come. And so the message, who is going to give the message to? How we can be so. It's also our fault. It's not only, it has to be this way. But this is in the low level, it's not in the high level.
Right.
In the high level, they're very simple. And they do also the low level, those people, they do Avodat Kodesh. What is it?
Let's see what the young crowd has to say. B'chava Shlomo. The battery is about to die.
Yes,
What
Shlomo.
does-
Kuli Keshet.
Okay, what does Afar Yaakov mean? מה meaning של Afar Yaakov?
Ayin?
The ashes of Yaakov?
Okay, so Rashi answers, as Onkelos renders, and in faints, da'ad dikaya of the house of Yaakov, וכו'. Another interpretation, Afal Yaakov means the soil of Yaakov, suggesting that the number of mitzvot they fulfill with soil are innumerable. You may not plow with an ox and a donkey. So you should not sow your field with a mixture of seeds. The ashes of the red heifer, the soil of the sota, and others similar of these.
Shlomo, you understood that? Because I did not understand. Can you explain, please?
I'll explain.
Please.
It means Afal Yaakov. It means like the dust of Yaakov.
Okay.
It says here that you should not sow your field. I don't know how to explain it. Can you explain it?
You cannot sell your
sow.
Reap, like to take away the crops.
With mixture of seeds like.
Kilain. Okay, no.
So the ashes of the red heifer.
Red heifer, paraduma.
So the soil of the sota. Sota is
The wayward
Sota
woman.
is where would the lady?
So that's why it comes into one thing of Afal Yaakov. That's what the meaning of it. So I had another one.
I am very sorry, but I don't understand.
That's a very high level.
שלום,
Look at there.
כל הכבוד, אבל הגיע, כל הכבוד.
חזק.
כל
אליהו,
הכבוד.
פרשת בלק.
תן לו עוגה.
Give me the fried rice, please.
שבלעם שאל
מה פתאום?
מי סיפר
Just getting started.
את אפר יעקב. So רש"י אומר שיש קשר.
rushing like crazy.
You gotta love that.
הפרה של
rushing
האדמה,
like
הפרה
crazy.
האדומה של...
Because I put drone in there, that's why.
That there are mitzvot connected to.
I didn't see nothing. I spoke with
שלמה
Adam.
בכבוד.
בעד כסף.
What's the other one?
Okay.
Again, it's people say.
What's the other one?
This is from the beginning.
Okay.
I'm just gonna read it off. If you guys can add, you can add.
Yes.
So, what did Balak see in the first? Said, "Vaya Balak ben Tzipor et kol asher asa Yisrael la'amori." So it says, what did Balak see? Rashi says that he said, if these two kings, Sichon and Og, in whom we placed our trust, could not stand up to the Jewish people, then we certainly cannot. Therefore, Moab became
קל
terrified.
וחומר.
Kal Chomer. So it said,
Little tip you should know, anytime you learn Kal Vachomer, it has a segula for refuah. There's a book out there that has only Kal Vachomer, and they give it to sick people to learn it. It helps out in the refuah. So anytime you hear refuah, Kal Vachomer in Gemara or something like this, it activates refuah. So now is a good time to talk about anybody who needs refuah. Bezat Hashem for the refuah shelaman of David ben Zohara, Yitzhak ben Jamila, Rav Yeshayahu, Yosef Pinto ben Rabbanit Zavi.
so let me just continue the little part here in the bottom. It says, Sifsei Chachamim. So Rashi was troubled. Rashi's a little confused. Why the verse states that only Balak saw everything that Israel had done to the Amorites. Surely others also saw. Why only he did and not the other people? So then it says that they saw and not only him.
Right.
So Rashi thus explains that it was Balak in particular who meditated upon the significance of what had happened. And therefore the Torah describes him as the one who truly saw what had happened. So it's really him, not like the other people. Like he was actually one that actually knew it.
You know, Balak was a temporarily king. Did you know that? Because he wasn't Moavi, he was Midiani.
That's right.
So maybe that's all the reason why he wanted to prove somebody to be a permanent king and not a temporary king.
That's a great point.
Because why he cares that the Jewish people will go through his land? Why he cares about it? The Jewish people is not going to conquer his land because his land wasn't in the territory of Eretz Israel. Because the only thing he was worried about, like I said before,
He wanted to solidify his position.
Subjugate to the kingdom of Israel, that he will pay taxes and all these things, and then he will look like a weak king, and he's a worthless king, and they will replace him with a Moavi, because he was Midian. He was from Midian. He wasn't from Moab, because the king of Moab, it was the king of Moab was somebody else, because Sichon and Og, they are the one that they protect Moab. They protect those. Then after they die, they put him as temporarily. They did not have from their own. They went to Midian, something like this.
Very interesting. Og, when he fought Moshe Rabbeinu, the Midrash says, was a very interesting fight. Og was huge. Moshe was worried. We said this.
But it's still bothering me, all this thing. Yesterday when you said about how huge he was, that he saw like a wall, because they said the ulterior motive that he came to Abraham Avinu, he wanted Abraham Avinu will, God forbid, he will die, and he will take what's her name as his wife. So what, he would take miniature lady like this, like a doll? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Og was so big
it's very...
that Moshe Rabbeinu was as the size of his ankle. Remember you told us?
He was the size of his
But
ankle.
why you want to rise?
He's only 10 foot. Just imagine us. We're just a little
But
lower.
my question is, why you would
Maybe
want...
not necessarily to procreate. You're thinking
So
that
to have a
children.
toy? To have a toy? I mean, what is this?
Yeah.
To have a toy?
I mean, if somebody
Paro wanted Sarah as what? He wanted her to have her as a
trophy,
as a
something
trophy
that
wife.
everybody wants.
But what? It's very hard for me to understand. Somebody that's such a giant will bother with such small, because the Meraglim say that they said that we are nemalim that look like a human being, like Hagavim. Yeah, so human being that look like Hagavim, like Nemal. So they did not want to bother. It makes sense. You have this giant, like even nowadays, let's say you have somebody that's very strong, those people that wrestlers and all this, and somebody like me comes to him, get the hell out of here. I mean, one for him, I mean, it's not, I'm nothing for him, as far as physicality, so I don't know, it's very hard. Very hard. Why those Anakim will have to be bothered with regular human being that they're so small?
Listen, to figure out how a giant was with a human. How did it happen the first time?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very hard for me.
How did it happen the first time?
I don't want to think about it because then you look at disgusting things, but I don't want. It's not.
When we turn up the camera, I'll tell you what I found out. It's very interesting.
Because okay, I believe in Midrashim. I believe, but still, it's very hard for me to,
Okay.
I believe, yes, it was, but I don't understand how it was. That's it.
Okay, so accept that's Fukat. It's like a Fukat.
Actually, if I could say something about that, it says that the Nephilim, they don't say the Nephilim were giants. They say the Nephilim
or fallen angels.
Fathered the giants. The children of the Nephilim then were the ones who became the giants. So the Nephilim could have been the size of other human beings, and then their sons became the Anakim. I don't know. We have to search.
But it says over there that they coveted the human ladies.
But the Nephilim, not the Anakim. The Anakim
Both.
were their children.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Midrash says both. Now, back to the war, to the fight of Og and Moshe. It says that Og was so big that he would uproot mountains, and he would throw it at Moshe.
Why?
and Moshe would use special
It's like those
shemot.
movies, like those
Yeah,
movies.
it would use
Wow.
special shemot to stop it in midair and put it back in its place.
What's the name
And
of
all-
this movie? That you put together those things. You buy Transformers. Take a car, throw the car.
They took it from the Torah.
Remember the story
Everything
of the
comes from
war
Torah.
in Gaza there's a non-religious guy and a bomb, like towards his house, and he knows that's it, he's dead, everything, whatever. And that second, he put a kippah tzitzit, and the wind came. I'm not lying to you, Sharon. It blew the whole bomb to the other side.
רחל אמנו הייתה שם גם.
They,
אמרת,
yeah, they